Good morning, MegaPodlings. It is Crazy Joe. Welcome to Krazy After Dark. I apologize. My back was bothering me today, so I took it to the couch. I didn't like the idea of sitting on a bar stool with no support behind my back for the hour that we do this. So I'm on the couch. Not as exciting of a backdrop. You get a yellowish beige wall, but it is what it is. And I see Gary is here. James. Gary says, in brightest day, in darkest night, I can't remember the full mantra. I got it all. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. So here we are. It is Tuesday night. It is Krazy After Dark. And I guess we have a lot to talk about. It's been a bit of a busy week, hasn't it? I hope my setting isn't too distracting. But like I said, the back was bothering me. All right. Let's see. James says, where is Joe? I'm here. I'm right here. Noah's here. James says, hey, Joe, yesterday night I saw Onward. Overall, it's the best Pixar film in years. Oh, yeah, I agree. I think it's the second best Pixar film. The only Pixar film that I'd say I might like better is In and Out. But it's certainly the most emotional Pixar film. My brother. Let me see if I can bring this table just a little closer. I know my brother. He watched Onward. Whoa! Sorry about that. Little mishap. My brother watched it and he said he was a bit of a wreck watching it himself. So yeah, it was a very emotional film. Brent is here. Hello, Brent. Aubrey is here. Lisa. Looks like Joe has a new green friend. Welcome back, sir. Yes, I got Baby Yoda with me today. Baby Yoda. Hello. Hello from Baby Yoda. Anyway, there he is. Joey Hockey Puck and Joey Baseball, both here at the same time. Hello, Joeys. Jamel says, hi, Joe. How was your day? Very, very good. How was yours, Jamel? Gary says, Joe, I commented on your video, but I'll ask here, how much did that Star Trek Adventure tape cost you back in 1993? I remember exactly how much that cost me, because I was the one who paid for it. I saved up my allowance for that because I was the Star Trek fanatic. I was the one who insisted my family had to do that. It wasn't the kind of thing my dad would have spent money on. So yeah, I paid for that myself out of my high school allowance. Or I was actually working at Roy Rogers part-time in those days. So it could have been my Roy Rogers salary. Roy Rogers was a restaurant chain on the East Coast. I got to say that because I've met people who don't live on the East Coast who were very confused when I said I worked at Roy Rogers. Like years ago, I met some girls in Florida who I told them I worked for Roy Rogers, and they thought I worked for Roy Rogers, the actor. They thought he employed me personally to like clean his house or something. I'm like, no. It's a restaurant chain. But yeah, it cost $30. $30, which doesn't sound like much, but in those days, in high school, you know, you saved your pennies, and you didn't have that much money to begin with, so $30 was a bit of a chunk of your weekly allowance right there. So yeah, no, it doesn't sound like that's too much all these years later. Brent says the Toy Story ones are my favorites. Those are very good movies, obviously. Connor says, Joe, don't know if you have the animated Alf series, but the re-releases are on sale for $5 at Walmart. Oh, that's a good price. That is a good price. Brandon says, is that the legless Yoda? He does not have legs. No, he has a stump, but that's okay. He could use the Force, and he's got his floating pod, so. Baby Yoda don't need no legs. Look at him. Isn't he sweet? I should even do the live stream. You should just ask your questions to Baby Yoda. Who wants to talk to me when Baby Yoda's here? He's so much better than me. Anyway. Uh, do, do, do. James says, comment question time for everybody. Which Disney cartoon desperately needs a complete series set? I don't know about a cartoon, but I want to see Welcome to Pooh Corner or Dumbo's Circus, two old Disney Channel shows that used puppets. I'd like to see them revived in some form, whether it be Disney Plus or, uh, you know, let's see. James says, I remember Roy Rogers. I used to eat there back in the day. Unfortunately, my local Roy Rogers is gone. You know, James, I think most Roy Rogers restaurants are gone, aside from the ones uh, on highway rest stops. Like if you're on the Jersey Turnpike, you'll still find Roy Rogers. But I don't think there's any that aren't on a highway rest stop anymore. But they always had good chicken and good roast beef, though their roast beef was never quite as good as Arby's. Arby's still had the better roast beef, but their roast beef was quite good. Connor says, I like your community sweatshirt. Just finished the series. Wasn't a big fan of the last 3 seasons. Oh, wow. The last 2 seasons are my favorites. Season 5 and 6. Those are my two favorite seasons. I love season 5 and 6. Season 4 was not good. Season 4 is, known as the gas leak year among fans. It was the year Dan Harmon had nothing to do with the show, but he did come back for season 5, and it's funny because you see the qualities like great show, great show, great show. Season 4, season 5, then it's back. But yeah, season 6 is actually my favorite season, where they introduced the character of Elroy, who is hilarious. I love Elroy. But yeah, I am a huge fan of the show. Brent says you should do a reaction video with your mom and dad and brother to the Star Trek from Universal. Well, my dad's dead. My mom always hated that video because she didn't think she looked good in it. She doesn't know how to use the internet. But if she knew that video was on the internet, she probably would not be happy because she hates that video. And my brother, he might pop up in this chat. He does that sometimes. Lisa says, I just rediscovered Multiplicity on Vudu today. Such a fun one to watch every decade or so. I like pizza. Oh, that's a great movie. Pizza goes in the wallet. I go to Florida, I'm going to eat a dolphin. No, you're going to pet a dolphin. Oh, yeah, pet a dolphin. That's a great movie. I love Multiplicity. Joey says, did I comment too much on your video? Well, Joey, there was one video that I think you put 25 comments on. It was and I got notifications for the first few, and then I stopped getting the notifications, and then I went in and I'm like, oh my God, there's 27 comments here. Greg says, a lazy couch live stream tonight, eh? Yes, well, my back hurts, so I'm trying not to sit on the bar stool tonight. Lisa says, Baby Yoda, do you actually like chicken nuggets and chalky milk? I think he only likes frogs. He really likes frogs, though. Joey says that Baby Yoda without any legs is seriously disturbing to me. Well, it's probably because of something you did. You probably ate his legs. Gary says it's a shame that Disney isn't embracing the name Baby Yoda. Instead, they insist we call him the child. If George was still running Lucasfilm, do you think he would embrace it? Well, Disney has embraced it because if you search for Baby Yoda on their Shop Disney sites, it comes up. So they know that's what people are calling it. So they've clearly put the search term Baby Yoda in there because, and I refuse to call it the child. No. We are not calling this the child. This is Baby Yoda. Disney is going to bow to our whims. This is Baby Yoda. Right, Baby Yoda? Mm-hmm. Baby Yoda. Jamal says Baby Yoda is cute. James says Baby Yoda and Super Chat Hippo in the live stream for the win. Super Chat Hippo is here. He is here. Joey Baseball says, do I know who Childish Gambino is? Yes, I'm wearing a community sweatshirt. Of course I know who the Childish Gambino is. I have a poster of him on the wall right there. There's a poster of him right there. Noah says I'm watching Coco right now. Coco, another great movie. Oh man, that is another Pixar, just phenomenal Pixar film. I love Coco. Hang on one second, one second. Straighten it up a little bit. Give me a minute here. Oh, there we go. That's better. Where were we? Connor says, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the final three season because there was less Childish Gambino and Chevy Chase. I was happy to see Chevy go. I like Chevy. Uh, Generally speaking, I like Chevy, but I didn't think he really was working too much on the show, especially in the later seasons when it was clear he didn't want to be there. And I thought the characters they brought in to replace him, like Buzz Hickey uh, and Elroy, were so hilarious. If you told me when I was watching Breaking Bad, if you told me, oh, by the way, uh, the guy who plays Mike, he's going to be hilarious on a sitcom next year, I would have been like, no. But then he came to Community, and he was just so funny in the role of Buzz Hickey. Hey, Wes is here. How you doing, Wes? How's it going? Thinking Art Entertainment. Go check out his channel. He's got some great content on there. And I just realized that my phone is not plugged in, and it is going to die, so we need to fix that. Hang on a second. Plug it in the phone, plug it in the phone. There we go. I meant to do that because the phone's almost dead. I ran an extension cord just so the phone doesn't go dead. Then I forgot to plug it in. It's the kind of night I'm having. But yeah, Wes just uploaded a new short film that he had like a big premiere for. Go check it out on his channel. And Wes, we got to get you. We got to get you. I've been doing these little conversation films or conversation videos where I get together with someone else, another YouTube personality, over Skype, and we just have a conversation. We got to do one with you. We got to do one. Let's see. James says, say, Joe, did you know that season 1 of Wait Till Your Father Gets Home is on DVD? I wish they'd release the rest. You know, I don't remember Wait Till Your Father Gets Home that well. I remember that it existed, but I don't actually remember the show. It was Hanna-Barbera, right? And it was basically like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Roman holidays, except this one was set in the present modern day. It was like, okay, here's the family, but instead of the gimmick of they exist in another part of time or history, they actually exist now in the present. That was the show, right? I know of it, but I don't think I ever watched it. There's Joey complaining about Onward again. Joey, it's a great movie. Get over it. Brad Quinn says, to answer your question, James, every single Marvel animated series from the 90s, except for X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Iron Man, because none of those shows have been released. Gary says, Joe, how did you get Wet Movie 1 on your channel? Well, I sent him a message. I just said, hey, want to do a video? He was like, okay. I mean, I don't really know Brendan that well. Like, that was the first time we ever had a conversation. Like, I've never actually had like a conversation with Brendan before. But we know of each other. I've watched his videos. He's watched my videos. He's popped up on these Krazy After Darks. He's come in the chat room and chatted with you guys in the chat before. So yeah, we definitely are in each other's orbit because we do the same kind of thing. But he lives in California, so I've never actually met him. But we're Facebook friends, we're Instagram friends, we know each other's videos. So I just reached out to him and said, hey man, you want to do a video? And he was like, yeah, sure. And maybe we'll do one again someday because he's he's a pretty cool guy. He's a decent guy, and I'd like to do more. I'd like to meet him someday if I'm in California, if he's in Philly. Connor says, "Did I read Josh Trank finally spilled the beans on what went wrong with Fan Four Stick?" I did not. I assumed. Well, here's the thing. No matter what went wrong on that movie, Josh Trank also went wrong on that movie because no matter what went wrong, his behavior afterwards was so unprofessional. Like when he took to Twitter the weekend his movie opened and was like, "That's not what I made. That's not." I forget what it was he said, but basically he was trashing the movie on Twitter opening weekend, which is really unprofessional. It's like you're supposed to be promoting your movie and you're trashing it. I understand you're frustrated. I understand you're not happy with the movie, but you're also an industry professional. What studio is going to work with you if you do that when they're trying to market a film and promote a film, if you're out there trashing the very film? It just was very unprofessional. He should have just kept his mouth shut for like 6 months to a year and then come out. And I think that's what killed him from doing, like, it basically killed his career. I mean, he was going to do a Star Wars movie and it got yanked from him. So I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I'd like to see what Josh Trank had to say. And I really like Chronicle, his first movie. I really liked Chronicle. Chronicle was a great movie. I always say it was the last great found footage movie because after Chronicle, there really was nowhere left to go with found footage. So as these found footage movies kept coming out, I kept being like, well, where more do you go with that? They've done that to death, and I feel like Chronicle was the last one that kind of raised the bar on that type of movie. And I don't know. Maybe somebody out there has a great idea for a found footage film that I'm not thinking of, and you see it and you're like, oh no, that's genius. I would have never thought of that, but I can't imagine what's left to tell with that format. Because one of the big questions is always who's holding the camera? Why is this person constantly holding the camera? I thought Chronicle handled that quite well. Anyway. Brent says, "I'm sorry, I did not know your dad has been gone. My apologies." No, it's no problem, Brent. It's part of why Onward really affected me deeply because the idea of getting to have one more day with your dad after he's passed, it's a very personal idea. And it's a very, very, very emotional movie to me and my brother. So, yeah, I love that movie. Aubrey says, "Would Adam the Woo want to do a video with you?" Aubrey, Adam's a great guy. Obviously, Adam and I have done videos together in the past, but in person videos, like where we're together at a place and on on an adventure together. That's the kind of video Adam likes to do. Adam really is uncomfortable with like anything resembling an interview format. He doesn't feel it's his format. He doesn't feel it's really where he shines. And I've tried to get him to do podcasts before. He's turned me down. I even suggested, I thought it, because I wanted to be a filmmaker. I went to film school. Obviously, a dream I long gave up on. But several years ago, I thought it would be a neat idea, maybe because I know so many people doing YouTube. Maybe there's a documentary in that. And especially in people like Cinema Sickness and Adam, who at the time was doing a daily video. But I thought, these people who every single day of their life have to put a video out every day, there's a story in that. There's a story there. And I thought that would be a very, very interesting idea for a documentary. And I approached Adam. He was completely uninterested. He wouldn't want any parts of it, really. And that's fine. It's like he knows the format he feels comfortable in. He feels comfortable in, we're going on an adventure. We're going to do this. We're going to check out this theme park. We're going to check out this old town that I found on Route 66. We're going to check. He likes going and looking at things and checking things out. That's what he likes doing. Even in this quarantine, you'll see him doing videos in his apartment. And he makes it pretty clear this isn't really what he wants to be doing, and he's not entirely comfortable doing it. So yeah, I haven't even thought to reach out to Adam because I know that's not what he's interested in. But I'd love to have him. If I thought Adam wanted to do one, I'd love to have him. Greg says, no love for Demolition Man 2. I'm telling Sly, I love Demolition Man. I can't wait for a Demolition Man 2. Bring it on. Gary says, Josh Trank only had one decent movie, and that was Chronicle, and I believe that movie's overrated. Josh Trank was also fired from the Boba Fett movie. Yeah, but I think that's because of the way he handled the press after Fantastic Four. They got him fired. Wes says, Joe, one of my friends made a feature called Butterfly Kisses, found footage movie on Amazon Prime. It's pretty unique, and I think you'd actually enjoy it. I will look that up. Thank you for the tip. I've heard Fantastic Four was the reason Disney bought Fox. I don't think that's the whole reason. The main reason I heard that Disney bought Fox is that they were launching Disney Plus, and they wanted content. They needed a lot of content to fill Disney Plus, and the entire Fox library just provided them with more content. You know, The Simpsons is up there, and you've got all these Fox movies like The Sound of Music and Miracle on 34th Street and the X-Men, the X-Men series. So I always heard that's what it was. It was more about gaining that library of content for their streaming services. Joe, regards to film footage films, have you seen Project Almanac? I like that movie. It's a found footage film about time travel. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look that one up. Joey says, Josh Trank has not earned the right to trash talk his movie on Twitter. He's not a household name. I don't think you have to earn the right. You know, if he made the movie, it's certainly his right to trash talk it. I don't think it was professional doing it while on opening weekend. I don't think that was the time. I think that was unprofessional, but he certainly, you don't need to be a household name. You just need to have done a thing. Greg says, Adam doesn't do podcast video chats. Exactly. Love to have him, though. Adam, if you're watching this and you want to do one, reach out to me. I'm not going to bother you with it, though, because I know you don't like doing that kind of thing. So I'm not going to reach out to you. But if you're watching, Adam, and you're like, hey, I'd like to do a video chat with Joe, you got my email address. Get in touch. We'll do it. But yeah, I'm not gonna even ask him because I know that's not his thing. Aubrey says, I think a documentary on film collecting would be a great idea. It could be a passion project. If only I knew people who collected films. I don't know that I know anyone who's into collecting movies and DVDs and Blu-rays. I can't think of anyone that I could feature in such a project. Who would it be? Oh boy. Joe, have you seen the Nick Fury film starring David Hasselhoff? I've seen parts of it. I've never seen the whole movie. And I gotta say, he was good casting back in the day. Like, because the comic book version of Nick Fury, I mean, Hasselhoff looked the part. I mean, that was pretty accurate casting. Joey says, Disney bought Fox because Fox was for sale and they had the money to buy it. There's truth in that. Greg says, Disney bought 20th Century Fox for one reason, Star Wars A New Hope. That's another reason. It had to be very, very frustrating for Disney that they owned all of Star Wars except for one movie. That had to drive them crazy. James says, comment question time. Has anyone seen the movie Ice Twisters? I have not. But you know what? Let me show you what I picked up this week. Well, shouldn't say I picked it up this week. I ordered it off the Funko website a couple weeks ago, and it just arrived today. Woodsy Owl. Who remembers Woodsy Owl? Give a hoot, don't pollute. Help Woodsy spread the word. Never be a dirty bird. I had to have that. I got Smokey the Bear on my desk at work, so I needed to get Woodsy Owl. Now I need McGruff. They got to put McGruff out now. Lisa says, oh yeah, Follow That Bird is on Vudu too. Now all we need is a Big Bird in China. I do have Big Bird in China on DVD, but you know what one I really would like that I don't think's ever been put out on DVD? I would love to get Don't Eat the Pictures. Lisa, do you remember Don't Eat the Pictures? I need Don't Eat the Pictures. Aubrey says, you're a funny man, funny man. Well, thank you, Aubrey. Connor says, am I excited for HBO Max? I am. I can't wait to see what's on HBO Max. There's so many things that I'm hoping are going to be on HBO Max because it's Time Warner. If you look at the library of Time Warner titles, TV, movies, if they put all of it up there, oh my God, what a treasure trove. Like there are old sitcoms from my youth that I would love to see again. And if they're on HBO Max, that would be amazing. I mentioned on the all new MegaPodTastic podcast a couple times that I mentioned that Just the 10 of Us, because I had Heather Langenkamp from Just the 10 of Us. She was on an episode of the podcast, and we talked to her about Just the 10 of Us. Just the 10 of Us hasn't seen the light of day in years. It doesn't get rerun. There's not a DVD release of it. So it's like you can't get DVDs. You can't watch it like on some UHF channel or MeTV. If you put that on HBO Max, I will watch it. Gary says, after the dust settles from COVID-19, do you think that Disney will be forced to sell some of Fox's assets like Alien or Predator to pay off their debt? I don't think they'll have to. But, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Disney's going to do anything with Alien or Predator, because what's left to do, really? And also, I keep thinking, is there any potential left in the Alien or Predator franchise? Like, what more do you have to say about the Alien or the Predator? It's the same as found footage films. I'm like, I don't have an idea of what story you could tell. We all know what happens in an alien film. Someone finds an egg. The egg opens. Facehugger comes out. Facehugger gets on the face. Chest bursts. The alien comes out the chest. And it's like we've seen it all before. Like, I mean, what new twist do you put on that? I don't know. Again, someone might have an idea that I don't, but I don't know what's left to tell with Predator or Alien. Aubrey says, I'd buy a McGruff Pop for sure. James says, how about a Time for Timer Funko? I don't know what Time for Timer is. James says, hey Joe, there are new Looney Tunes cartoons coming to HBO Max. It looks great, but I want to hear your thoughts. I saw the trailer. I'm in. It looks good. It looks really good. My daughter's super into Looney Tunes. We just watched Looney Tunes Back in Action for the second time the other day. She loves Wile E. Coyote. We watch a lot of Wile E. Coyote cartoons. Backwin says, I would buy a pop of Rogue from the X-Men. Not only because Rogue is hot, but because the actress who plays her in the films, Anna Paquin, is a bodacious babe. Sorry for the 80s slang. Backwin, never, ever, ever apologize for the 80s slang. If there's one thing we always appreciate here on this channel, it's 80s slang. What time is it, by the way? We've got about a half hour left. Connor says, I still want a alien dark ride at Disney World. It would be awesome to have a truly scary ride at Disney. They did have a ride called the Extraterrestrial Counter a while back. I didn't really think it was great. It was like, everything went out, was in the dark, and like things were happening to your neck, like an alien was eating you. But I don't know. Oh boy, what else happened this week? I don't know. It's been a crazy. It's been a lot of news, hasn't there? Connor says, where was the Star Trek experience located at Universal? It was right next to the Mummy ride. There used to be a visitor center next to the Mummy ride, and that's where it was located. And then it turned into a preview center for a while for Islands of Adventure before Islands of Adventure opened. Greg says predictions on Disney Park reopen. Oh, man, I don't know. It seems like with our current situation, with the masks and the social distancing, I don't see how they can reopen. I mean, obviously they're going to have to eventually, but they're saying we're going to be doing this for months. They keep 6 months. How do you stay 6 feet apart from someone in a Disney park? I don't know how you would do it. I don't know. Lisa says they turned Alien Encounter into Stitch's Escape, and that's done now too. Yeah, I never saw Stitch's Escape, but I heard it wasn't very good. Aubrey says, I hope the writers in Hollywood are coming up with film ideas other than quarantine or pandemic screenplays. James says, okay, guys, has anyone seen The Midnight Gospel? It's a great Netflix show made by the person who made Adventure Time. I have not seen that. Snotter Otter says, hey, Joe. Hey, Snotter Otter. Jay Jarvis says, hey, Joe. Hey, Jay Jarvis. James says, favorite old and new DC Comics movie, Joe? Well, favorite old has to be Superman the movie, Christopher Reeve. There's no contest. When I name my top superhero movies of all time, Superman the movie's in the top 5. Superman the movie is an absolute classic. New Shazam. I mean, it couldn't be easier. Superman the movie and Shazam, favorite old and new, and both of them would be in my top 5 superhero films of all time. Actually, Connor says, did you do the Alfred Hitchcock Experience or see the Bates Motel at Universal Studios Florida? Connor, I first of all, yes, I did the Hitchcock Experience, but the Bates Motel, yes and no. Yes and no. When I was a kid and I used to go there, when you were in line for like the ET ride, you could see the Bates Motel off in the distance. Like you could see it from the line queue for ET, but it wasn't open to the public. Now, it's my understanding at one time it was open to the public. It was an attraction. You could go up and see the Bates Motel house that was used in Psycho 4. The one in Universal Florida was the one used in Psycho 4. And I understand at one time it was an exhibit, but the first time I ever went to the park, it was no longer an exhibit, but you could still see it from the ET line. I would have liked to have gotten up close with it, though. I love Psycho 4. Psycho 4 is an underrated sequel. Joey Hockey Puck says, what do I think of New Mutants going direct to video? I hope it doesn't. I know it popped up on Amazon yesterday with a sale price of $25. And then it quietly disappeared again. So that's led a lot of people thinking New Mutants is going to go direct to video. I really hope it doesn't. I want to see New Mutants on the big screen. I think if it does go direct to video, no film in recent years has had such injustice done to it as New Mutants. Because, I mean, granted, none of us have seen the movie. For all I know, the movie sucks. But early rumors are it's a really good movie. And it was a victim of bad timing. It was about to come out right when the merger was happening, and that's unfortunate. Unfortunate. Gary says the movie theaters forced me to wear a mask to go watch a movie. I'll wait for home video. Well, nothing is keeping me out of a movie theater this August when Wonder Woman opens. Wonder Woman, I will be there. I will probably be wearing a mask, but there's nothing keeping me away from nothing keeping me away from that movie theater. James says favorite old and new Marvel movie, Joe. Well, there aren't many old Marvel movies. I think the first big screen Marvel movie was Howard the Duck, 1987. Other than that, there's a lot of made-for-TV stuff. But I don't think they've had... I mean, geez, from 1987 with Howard the Duck all the way straight through to 1998 with Blade, I don't think they had much on the big screen. They had attempts, Fantastic Four in 94, the 1990 Captain America. They never got released, though. Even the Punisher, Punisher 1988 with Dolph Lundgren, never got a release. They all ended up going direct to video. If we're counting direct-to-video, which I never count, I'm always like, no, if we're saying a movie, it had to have played in the theater, it had to be on the big screen. So therefore, if we're going by that criteria, the only game in town is Howard the Duck for the old one. There's nothing else. And for the newest, it's got to be Endgame. But if we're going to count direct-to-video stuff, I would say the '88 Punisher with Dolph Lundgren and Endgame. Favorite Fred Flintstone voice actor? Mine is Alan Reed and Jeff Bergman. Well, I go with Alan Reed. Alan Reed's the classic. Lisa says they announced today in the OC mayor advised Orlando theme parks. It's up to them when they want to open if they can implement required safety guidelines. I don't think they can. Jessica is here. She says, I missed you with the child. He's right here. And please, please call him by his given name, Baby Yoda. Cinema Sickness is like, his name's not Baby Yoda. I'm like, how do you know? His name could be Baby Yoda. You don't know. We don't know what his name is. They haven't told us his name. There's a lot of Daves in the world. Why can't there be another Yoda? Maybe Yoda's his dad and he's Yoda Jr. Maybe he was named after his dad. Or his uncle. I don't know. But we don't know he's not Baby Yoda. Joey Baseball says, are you serious? You're going to seriously go to a movie theater wearing a mask? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I go to the supermarket wearing a mask? I mean, ain't nothing keeping me out of a movie theater. Gary says, I guess all anyone has to do to cause a panic is go into a crowded movie theater with no mask and sneeze really loudly. I would also try to just go at an off time. Like when Wonder Woman opens, I'll probably go on I'll take off work and go on a weekday morning. That's probably the approach I'll take when it's least crowded. Puck Nerd says there was a Punisher 1989 and Howard the Duck was 1986. Captain America was 1990. Yes, but Punisher and Captain America went direct to video. Howard the Duck did play on the big screen though. Connor says, have you seen Escape from Tomorrow? Horror film, guerrilla style. I have, and you know what? I didn't think it was very good. I like the idea, but I didn't think it really worked, personally. Just a reminder, old Super Chat Hippo is with us, even though we've moved over to the couch. Old Hippo is here. And hippos and owls are natural enemies. I don't know if you knew that. So there's a war going on here between Super Chat Hippo and Woodsy Owl. Steven says, would like to see a Howard the Duck remake. I actually kind of wish they had used the old Howard the Duck costume from the Howard the Duck movie in Guardians of the Galaxy. James says, favorite Dorito flavor? Mine is Cool Ranch and Taco. I do not like Cool Ranch at all because it's ranch, and I hate ranch. But I love spicy nacho, and I like the fire flavor. I like the fires; they're pretty good. Joey says it's funny how CS refuses to call him Baby Yoda, but he calls the Spice Girls by their nicknames, which were given to them by the press. Well, I don't know why he refuses to call him Baby Yoda. That's his name. Call him by his name. Right? What's your name? Baby Yoda. Call me Baby Yoda. Oz WWF says the original Wonder Woman TV series is coming out on Blu-ray on July. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Ooh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Hang on a second. Ooh. It's not there yet. It's building. It's building. Steven says, if you see the final countdown starring Kirk Douglas, I have not, but I've heard the song. Ever heard of the tacky snacks? They have a fire flavor. I have heard of tacky snacks. I've never tried them, though. Joe Baseball says, how could you possibly enjoy watching a movie while wearing a mask? Just watch the movie. Gary says, so I have to ask the inevitable question. Who played the best Punisher? Dolph Lundgren, Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson, or John Bernthal? I'm going to go with John Bernthal, but Dolph would be a close second. God, the Tom Jane movie was horrible. What a horrible movie. It wasn't his fault. Like, it wasn't the casting, but it's just a bad movie. Ever seen a movie starring Jon Favreau? It's a great movie. Oh, the movie Made. Yeah, I saw Made. That's a good movie. Screech was on the list? Let me see that list. I want to see Screech's name on the list. Yeah, I have that on DVD. That's a good movie. Cutter says, I know you are a huge fan of Superman the movie, but what do you think of the Helen Slater Supergirl movie? Good question, Connor. Good question. The Helen Slater Supergirl movie is like the Superman sequels, Superman 3, Superman 4. It's a terrible movie, but it's a terrible movie that has a lot of charm to it. It's kind of hard to hate, but it's not good. Uh, so yeah, I kind of like the movie, but it's not good. Hang on a second. I am going to take off my sweatshirt. I am overheating. I'll be right back. I will be quick. I'll leave Baby Yoda here with you. Oh, there you go, Baby Yoda. Whoa. Where's Baby Yoda? There he is. Ah. Brandon says, we all wear masks. Joey, yes. Yes, and sometimes this is the mask. For example, Batman is not the mask. Bruce Wayne is the mask. Joey Baseball says something about refreshments not being served in a movie theater. No, never going to happen. That's where they make all the profits. That's where they make all the profits. Greg says, anyone got a frog? Gary says, Joe, if you offered to take the sweatshirt off in front of the camera, someone may have sent you a super chat for that. Yeah, no, not today. Lisa says, wow, Baby Yoda, you have so much to say tonight. How interesting. Hey, he says every bit as much as he says on the show. James says, Crazy Joe, did you know that Superman 2 has an alternate cut called the Richard Donner cut? Indeed, I do. I was there opening day. The day of release for the Donner cut back in 06, waiting to pick up my copy. And it is the default version I watch now because it is better than the theatrical cut. Wes says, nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. Joey says, I might be interested in getting one of those Baby Yodas if they make one with legs. You just made Lieutenant Dan cry. Lieutenant Dan's like, I see. Got to have legs to count the Joey Baseball. Lieutenant Dan is crying right now. You don't got no legs. Conor McGregor says, have you seen the director's cut of Supergirl? I have. It doesn't really improve things. That movie is a mess. Part of the problem with Supergirl, to be honest, from what I understand, the original script for Supergirl was much, 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 much better. And they had a last-minute monkey wrench thrown at them. And that last-minute monkey wrench was Christopher Reeve refused to do the movie. Christopher Reeve was supposed to be in the movie as Superman. And Superman was supposed to fill in some of the plot holes. For example, Supergirl gets to Earth. In the movie, she just magically knows things. She knows things that she shouldn't know. She just got to Earth, and she says to someone, oh, my cousin's Clark Kent. He's a reporter at the Daily Planet. And you say to yourself, How would she know that? How would she know that? She literally just got to Earth. Well, Superman was supposed to be waiting for her on Earth, greet her, kind of like give her like the lay of the land, explain things to her, and then Christopher Reeve was going to leave, and then I think he was going to come back at the end of the movie. So he would have like a quick cameo, meet Supergirl, introduce her, blah blah blah, leave. He has to do something, then at the end come back. Hey, how'd your adventure go, Supergirl? And Christopher Reeve at the very very last minute backed out. And from what I understand, that was like taking the thread that like unraveled the whole thing. Because now suddenly you watch the movie, it doesn't make sense. Like Supergirl gets to Earth and she just knows things. She knows things and you're like, how do you know that? Who told you that? You just got to Earth. How could you possibly know that? From what I understand, it was the inclusion of Christopher Reeve as Superman that was going to fill in those plot holes. So unfortunately, Supergirl is such a terrible movie, but it could have, from what I understand, been a good movie if Christopher Reeve had appeared in the film as he was supposed to. Let's see. Steven says, I'm watching the 3-hour version of Superman the movie now. That's the version I grew up with. The TV cut, the ABC cut. I remember watching it on a theatrical re-release for like its 20th anniversary. And I'm like, oh, where's the scene where they're like, oh, bad. They where the girls are like, oh, bad, Brad. I'm like, that's not in there. And then it turns out that was the TV cut. So that's what I grew up with, though. And Rick is in the house. Welcome, Rick. Rick is doing the podcast with us tonight. And by the way, this is going to be the first time I've told this on a Krazy After Dark because we came up with the idea on the last podcast recording. I wasn't here last week. There was a, family issue going on. My daughter was sick, and we were dealing with my daughter being sick. She's much better. She's doing much better now. But that's why I wasn't here last week, and we didn't do a podcast recording last week. It turned out to be a rerun last week. One of the old episodes made its way back down the feed again. But the last podcast recording 2 weeks ago, J2H and I came up with an idea. And I record each episode of the podcast via video. Then I have this video footage. I dump down the audio. I cut it up. I put in the music, the little promos, all the, I fix it up. And it comes down the feed on Friday as an audio podcast. But we decided 2 weeks ago to take the video feed of the podcast recording and make it available to Patreon members. So tonight, when we're done recording, now I don't know if it'll be Tuesday or Wednesday because we start recording at 10. I got to upload the video, blah, blah, blah. It might end up being after midnight, so it might be Wednesday morning. Of course, if you're on the West Coast, that'll still be, what's midnight to us here is not midnight on the West Coast, so it would still be either tonight or very, very, very early hours of Wednesday morning. All Patreon members will have access through the Patreon page to the video of the podcast recording. So you'll basically have the podcast days early. It won't be edited up real nice with all the segment music and everything, but you'll get to see the video of us recording the podcast tonight, right after we're done recording it, as soon as I get it uploaded. And I'll do that as quickly as possible. But that is a new perk for Patreon members. So if you are a Patreon member, you can watch that video of us recording the podcast tonight. And then the rest of the world will get the actual audio podcast nice and edited on Friday. So that's brand new perk. Brand new perk. James says Supergirl for Teen Titans Go and Young Justice. Backward says I've only seen the special edition DVD of the first one and the Lester version of Superman 2. Do yourself a favor and check out the Donner cut. The Donner cut is so good. There's a scene in the Donner cut that is just astounding. And unfortunately, they never shot it. They never shot it for the final film, but it was used as the audition scene that they used to audition actors. So they had Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder doing the scene for their audition. So for the Donner cut, he cut their audition into the movie because he never got to shoot that scene. But it's the scene where Lois figures out that Clark is Superman. And in the final film, the Lester cut, it's really stupid. Clark like slips on a bearskin rug and falls in the fire. But Richard Donner made it so that Lois tricks Superman. She outsmarts him and she tricks him into revealing that he's Superman because she's a reporter and she's not a dummy, you know? And it's a much better scene. And it's much better for Lois's character. Here's this, crack investigative reporter. She never can figure out that Clark is Superman. Well, in this cut, she does figure it out and she outsmarts him. And it's a beautiful scene. And it's a shame that it it's a shame that he never got to finish the final version of that. But it's nice that it's in the movie, even though it is their audition footage. So as a result, Christopher Reeve didn't have the part yet. Okay, he was auditioning for the part. It was an audition, so he didn't have the part yet. So he hadn't started working out yet. So when you're watching the Donner cut and you get to the scene, suddenly Christopher Reeve turns to skin and bones. Skin and bones, so tiny. Like, I mean, just he's not Superman at all. I mean, like he is so thin and he has no muscle at all because he hasn't started working out because he hasn't got the part yet. This is an audition tape. But if you go in and you know this is an audition scene, you can just turn your brain off to it. It's a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful scene. We are almost at 10 o'clock. I have to stop at 10 so we can go do the podcast. Mr. Will says, where's Super Chat Yoda? Well, Baby Yoda's over here. And Super Chat Hippo's over here. Yeah, Super Chat Hippo. So, yeah, they are here. And Woodsy Owl's here too. And Rick says, love the shirt. Thank you. Teen Titans Go doing the Breakfast Club. Kevin says, yeah, but Clark would have known that Low. Don't give the scene away, Kevin. Don't give the scene away. Punk Nerd says, have I seen Star versus the Forces of Evil? I have not. I'm not familiar with that. James says, there's a new show on Hulu called Solar Opposites made by Justin Rowland. I haven't heard of that show. Tuffy Perkins is here. Hello, Tuffy. Joey Baseball says, Joe, are you suffering from hay fever? You seem to be sniffling a lot. It's called the Tuesday Night Curse. I turned the camera on and my nose starts running. Gary says, I think Baby Yoda would like to snack on Super Chat Hippo instead of a frog. Would you rather feed Baby Yoda Super Chat Hippo or Kermit the Frog? Ain't nobody touching Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog is holy ground. Joey Baseball asks if I've seen Mean Girls during my quarantine. I have not. I have not at all. And is that it? We're caught up on questions. Well, seeing as it is 10 o'clock, I think it's time to wrap things up. Kevin says, what was the last movie I saw in theaters before they closed down? Oh, that's easy. It was Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. I saw that for the third time the week before theaters closed down. The first week of March. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, The Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. I went for my third viewing. Before that, it was Onward, which I think was the same day. In fact, yeah, it was. Same day. I saw Onward during the day, and then I went and saw Harley Quinn for the third time. So those were the last two movies I saw on the big screen. All right, guys, we are going to... Oh, Gary's got the stream ending joke. What do you call a big Irish spider? Patty Longlegs. Very nice. All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Didn't hear from Super Chat Hippo tonight. Nobody wanted to hear from Super Chat Hippo? That's okay. Alex says I saw Sonic 3 times before everything closed. See, I didn't think Sonic was all that good. I mean, it was okay. It was better than I thought. I thought it was going to be awful. But I kind of enjoyed it. Wes says, have a great night, Joe. Have a great night to you, Wes. And Aubrey says, see you later. Good seeing everybody tonight. We'll be back here next week. We'll do this again. And maybe I'll be back at the bar if my back isn't hurting. All right, guys. Like I said, podcast recording tonight. Patreon members will get the video feed tonight. Everyone else will get that podcast Friday. Keep wearing those pajamas.